again, listening to Chris Davis answer that question, who's the home run king, he immediately said Roger Maris. Just in his mind. I think a lot of people think that way because we don't know for sure. When you look at, and I know you're talking about the home run king for the whole time, so it's Hank Aaron or Barry right now. So I think until we fully understand that, I think many people will start to look back and think that it was still Hank Aaron and think Roger Maris.
Do you think that guys, I have a strong take, and
what is your take?
I'm very curious to get yours. And I'm saying this next to one of the all-time greats who did it the right way. I grew up in the steroid era. I'm 36 years old. So just so you have a perspective of where I come from as a broadcaster and as a fan, I can't pretend that my childhood, my college years, I can't pretend like it didn't exist. I was a baseball junkie, still am a baseball junkie. I might view Roger Maris and do as the all-time home run king. Personally, if you ask me, called the radio show, I'd say Roger Maris, single season, he's the home run king. Hank Aaron, he's the home run king historically. But in terms of the Hall of Fame, I'd put them all in because there were no tests. Nobody failed a test. I can't believe that, I can't pretend that I didn't see this chase for a history. I saw it. I witnessed it. Now, maybe when I take my kids to Cooperstown, I can tell them about the era. I don't even need an asterisk, but I think they should all be in the Hall of Fame.
The hard part for me is, how do you define the steroid era? I mean, how far does your knowledge go back? How far did it go back?
Do you want to start it with Canseco? I think that probably was the first time it was on.
What year was that?
Late 80s, early 90s.
So
would you agree with that as an answer to the question?
Well, I guess maybe, but I mean, to me, not being in the know, not knowing, did this sort of performance enhancer, was it used in other sports before the late 80s? And therefore we didn't notice it that sometimes. So to what degree was it used in all of baseball? We don't know that question. And I think the voting last year for the Hall of Fame was kind of pondering what that question is. To what degree? To what stats do we attribute that to? Do we don't know? And they kind of said, I don't have enough information to actually offer an opinion or offer a judgment on, because that's what you're asking the writers to do, is to judge you. And they're trying to say, I don't know how to judge you. I don't know how to make that decision. So that's the hard part, is where do you put it? Do you put an asterisk next to it if anybody has a little cloud that goes over their head, or that you don't know, or they've admitted to it, and then let you interpret it, and then and have the stats count as the stats count? The stats aren't going away.
No, they're not.
They're a part of the record. They're there. It's how you choose to look at them and to acknowledge it. And that is the really, really hard part for the fans. It's really, really a hard part for the writers to acknowledge who's in the Hall of Fame. And you have to come to your own sort of understanding. And does an asterisk then explain anything? I don't know. So that's the hard part. To what degree and to how prevalent were they? You can argue in many different ways with the players. I think Canseco said it was 80%.
Yeah.
That doesn't ring true. That doesn't make sense to me.
It's interesting, and guys who were either in the Mitchell Report or who used. I guess the other thing about the Hall of Fame process, to hit home Glenn's question, which bothers me, Mike Piazza's not in the Hall of Fame. Bagwell's not in the Hall of Fame. Now, if you don't think they're worthy, we could have a conversation. I think they're Hall of Famers. I don't like, and I'm part of this. I'm a sports writer, talk show host, fan. I don't think it's our responsibility to play judge and jury and make guesses on who used and who didn't use.
No, but I mean, again, it is the responsibility of those voting for the Hall of Fame to cast judgment, right?
I guess. Or you look at what you saw on the field.
And then, how do you judge? What do you base your judgment on? And if you're thinking, it just doesn't feel right, or I don't know for sure, I'm going to wait a little bit, that's a conservative sort of approach to make sure that you're hedging your judgment. I guess, or you could say, I'm going to judge you on the facts as I know them now. And then that'll be my judgment. So again, you're going back to, how do you judge? What do you base it on? And it sounds to me like the guys doing the judging that are asked to judge don't have enough information.
Great set of questions. Brady, who else we got?
Right here with